Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Let us get down to it. I think in the last episode I lingered underground for quite a while. Oh, well, I guess I'm safe. Oh, I thought that was a skeleton. It's a sheep. Floating tree. The floating tree says go that way. Nope, that's the opposite direction I would like to go, tree. Indeed. So yes, let's grab Wolfie. Wolfie is a good dog, unlike other dogs I've experienced in Minecraft. Am I right? Am I right, Wolfie? Bonk. Indeed. So, let's continue west to the far lands. Got places to go, things to see. And we also have 29% of our Child's Play charity goal so far. $8,616.90. That's amazing. I've got to start thinking of something to do for 30%. I have an idea, and it involves other individuals you may be familiar with, so I'm going to work on that. Something instead of an IRL video as I've been doing for these milestones. Something a little bit different, but hopefully I can get that in the works and get people's schedules all together, and we can do something that I think all of you will enjoy. So yeah, look forward to that. I also have to thank Agnes, Eddie, Chris, and Joe, who, in particular, Joe gave a very generous contribution to the Child's Play charity, and then to my tip jar. Those 4 people I just listed are for the tip jar contributions, but Joe in particular he did that in memory of Mark, who is he said is the son of a friend who was lost recently to cancer. So thank you very much, Joe. I'm really glad that you found this series, and we're helping out other children in children's hospitals through Child's Play charity. It's something that really keeps me going in a westward direction with Wolfie here. Indeed? Well, guess not. Okay, woof. Do I have my... It sounds very silent. I can never hear if I'm, making sound effects. Okay, well, I can hear that, so... The snow is just so silent. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Indeed, but yes, we're continuing on. The last few episodes I was talking about the NASASocial Doubletree. Wait a minute. What's going on there? I am confused. Whoa. Careful, Wolfie. Let's not do things such as pushing me off cliffs. Oh, okay, it was just a trick of perspective, but that looked like a double tree. Yeah, the last few episodes I was talking about the NASASocial for the SpaceX Dragon launch. Oh, that was risky. And I'm glad everybody appreciated that. I know a lot of you were saying, I would have never... I'm not much of a space person, but I've really enjoyed listening to you talk about this, so... That's kind of the point of these NASASocials, is to kind of spread the word and turn non-space people into space people. Space nerds, if you will. Space geeks. Oh, this is a rather awesome outlook, isn't it? We're on the border of some snow biomes here. Kinda cool. Oh, we're way up there, almost at the height limit of 1.7.3, mind you. This is 1.7.3. The height limit is just above the clouds. Oh, Wolfie wants to get going. Okay. But yeah, so that's really cool. I appreciate all those kind of messages, and I have good news if you haven't been following along. The Dragon capsule passed all of its tests so far, and on Friday and then early Saturday... Thursday and then early Friday, it was grappled by the space station, the robotic arm, and then berthed to the space station, where it was, hooked up to the docking module, and then they opened it up, and the astronauts are inside, and they're unpacking the limited supplies that were in there. So all is looking good for the Dragon, the SpaceX program, for turning them into a commercial partner. Yeah, that was really cool to watch, and it's kind of, I suppose some people might think it looks boring, but when the spacecraft is getting closer and closer and closer, and they have the live feed on NASA TV, and You can hear the transmissions between the astronauts and the ground control. That's really, even though it's happening at like a snail's pace, inches per minute, it's still pretty tense. You got to think these guys are up there, 300 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, traveling at 17,500 miles an hour, and it's two separate spacecraft. They've got to reach out and grab it. Don't nudge it wrong or anything like that. Reach out and grab it and then pull it in. And that's one of the things. The Dragon doesn't actually dock. A lot of people say, oh, they docked the Dragon to the ISS. The technical terminology, if you're docking, then the spacecraft on its own flies up and then mates with the International Space Station. So things like the Soyuz and the Space Shuttle, those craft docked. When you berth, that's when they reach out and grab the spacecraft with the robotic arm, and then the astronauts manually pull it in and then bring it to the docking port. So that's your little space terminology of the day between berthing and docking. But yeah, that's really cool to watch. And now, I mean, there's still... How did I not have any boats? What am I doing? It's like my first day in Varlands or Bust here. Boop, 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 boop. Just pushing buttons all over the place. What was I saying? Oh, they still have to. It's going to stay up there for about a week. They're going to put, like I mentioned before, they're going to put a few things back in the capsule, and then it's going to. They're going to deberth it. They're going to actually take it away with the robotic arm and then let it go. The reverse of what they did to capture it. And then it's going to do its re-entry burn, and then land in the Pacific, I believe, is where the Dragon wants to land, and then they recover it. And, once all that goes as planned is when this will be a mission success, and they will have passed NASA's commercial tests to become a commercial transport vehicle. Not yet for manned missions. That's a whole different animal. But yeah, then the next flight they're talking about in September... If this all goes well, in September, the next flight will be doing, regular cargo transport. Like, they're actually on missions. They're no longer in the test phase. So that's really cool. It was very cool to be a part of that, even though I missed the launch, obviously. But yeah, indeed. And I did have a few questions here that were asked over the last few videos about the SpaceX and Dragon capsule and the things I've been talking about. So I think I'll go through those the best I can. Hillbilly A1 asked, why was the launch tower leaning at an angle? All the launches I've watched, the towers have been straight up and down. That's just the way SpaceX does it. If you look at my pictures, which I guess I can flash a picture here, before launch and when the rocket's just at the pad, the launch tower is straight up and down with the rocket, and actually it's snug and holding on to the rocket. What that is they, unlike the Saturn V or the Space Shuttle, they assemble the Falcon 9 horizontally, much like the new horizontal assembly plant in Kerbal Space Program. They assemble it horizontally, and then it actually goes out on that launch platform almost like a train or a truck bed. And then that lifts sideways up to 90 degrees. Up until launch time, that launch tower is straight up and down, and then for the launch time, it kind of leans over by 15 degrees or so to get out of the way, because you obviously don't want to run into the launch tower with your rocket as you're taking off. So that's why that looks a little bit different. The same thing, the Soyuz and the Progress, the Russian spacecraft, they assemble that on its side and then roll it down on a train and then lift it up vertically. So it's very, they're just two separate ways of making, a rocket. Make rocket go now. It's two separate ways, and that might be why it looked a little bit weird, but that's just, it's a very, it's a simple way to do that, as opposed to, say, the Saturn V or the Space Shuttle. They assemble that vertically and then roll it out to the pad on the 1 mile an hour crawler. In a vertical stance. So it's just different ways. I think the smaller rockets like the Falcon 9 and the Soyuz, they are a little bit easier to assemble sideways and then roll out, as opposed to the large rockets. I know at least with the Saturn V, it's almost required. I think Werner von Braun like requested and required in the development of the Saturn V that it be assembled vertically. That way there aren't any, because it's such a heavy spacecraft. If you build it horizontally and then lift it vertically, things might shift and you might have weak joints and things like that. So I don't know the specifics behind that, but yeah, that's why that launch platform looked a little bit different than you might be used to. But it was all normal. That's completely planned in how they plan things. So yeah, let me go to sleep here. Ooh, that was a snore. That was quite the snore. And awakeness. There we go. Look at this lonely cactus in the middle of the water. I will set you free, cactus. Boosh! You are free. Indeed. Oh, this actually might be a bad idea. Hold on. Okay. Not as dramatic as I was hoping. I have been getting quite a few gravel beaches. I don't know what's up with that. Of course, I really didn't pay attention in this version of Minecraft if that's just a normal thing you see most of the time or what. But anyway, his Hillbilly A1's second question was, when viewing the second stage, I'm assuming of the launch, if you were watching, you could see this. They had cameras on board looking back. And then when the first stage disconnected, you could actually see that second stage, Merlin engine, I think it's called. It was really cool because as it fired up, you can see the rocket cone start to glow red from the heat. But the question was, when viewing the second stage from that camera angle, what was... there was a second moving object coming off of the rocket, not fire. What was that? I think I noticed this in the... Whoa, spiders! That sounds like a spawner. Yeah, probably underneath here. Oh, yep. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Oh, I just told Wolfie to sit and plunk down a boat at the same time. Here, I'll get the boat out there. This one seems like it's going to be tough to investigate. This is really weird. I mean, I've seen underwater spawners we have on the way where they've been offshore or something like that and totally, completely covered in water, but nothing like this. This is very interesting. Hey guys, having a bad day? Little sump pump problem maybe? Whoa, you guys should get a generator. Let me dig around and just see if I can get quick access to the whatchamadoozits, the chests. Okay, well. Oh, I almost fell in. I don't need you guys coming out at me. Oh, they're coming out at me. Oh, God. Hey, guy. How you doing? I don't get to use this diamond sword that often, do I? You are dead, sir. Hey. Touch my blade. There we go. You are dead, sir. Boop. Let's make sure they can't get me. Okay. Of course, something's going to creep up behind me. Hey, you there. You are dead, sir. I don't think there's any chests in here. What a bunch of losers. I'm just going to break this. Come on. Oh, yeah. The spawners take a lot longer to break in this version of Minecraft. Alright, let's fix their leakage. Boop. And a boop. Let's see what we got in the chests here. Bread. I don't need string. I'll take that wheat, and I'll take that iron, and I'll leave that bucket for Zisto to come pick up at a later date. Aha! I don't think there's another single chest spawner. Let's take the elevator out. Boop. Oop. Alright, well that was a little bit of a nice sidetrack. Let's not forget to make Wolfie stand up and continue on. Okay, yeah, the question was, sorry, distractions. There was a second moving object you can see in the foreground. I think what you're talking about, there was a second nozzle there that kind of every once in a while was twitching. That, I think, is just a stabilizer, like an RCS on Kerbal Space Program, like an RCS thruster. Every once in a while it was jittering back and forth as that second stage was firing, and I think that's just to keep it on the correct heading, keep everything on the up and up, which was really cool. You rarely get to see on other commercial spacecraft or non-commercial spacecraft. They rarely spend much time putting cameras all over the spacecraft like that. But yeah, I'm assuming there was 2 or 3 on the other side of the rocket that were doing the same thing. Come on, world, let's generate in front of me. So yeah, that was probably just an RCS thruster, but that was really cool. Let's see, another question. LK Raider asks, why is it called Dragon? I had to look this up, and the SpaceX people have very interesting reasons behind naming things. The capsule, when I talk about Dragon, I'm talking about just the little top part, the capsule that goes to the International Space Station. When we talk about the Falcon 9, that's the entire rocket setup. The Dragon, I looked up, and on Wikipedia it says Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, Elon Musk named it Dragon after the song Puff the Magic Dragon, reportedly as a response to critics who considered SpaceX and his spaceflight projects to be impossible. So there's that story. And it was kind of cool watching the International Space Station guys grapple the Dragon, and they're like, oh, we caught a dragon by the tail. You know, they make all these funny puns like they do. So you got a lot of time on your hands to come up with those when you're up in space for 6 months. But yeah, that's really cool. And then he didn't ask this, but they name it, oh God, watch where you're walking. They named the rocket Falcon after the Millennium Falcon. A little bit of, we got nerdy people there making rockets, so hooray for that. Indeed. What else do we got? This other question from Dutch Warwork. Anyway, Dutch. They ask, I mentioned there was a rocket going to Jupiter. Yes, Juno. That was the last NASA tweet up I was at for the launch in August of 2011. Ooh, careful, Wolfie. It's pushing me. Some crazy stripped lands here. It's like a dried up lava bed thing. Liquid hot magma. Careful, Wolfie. Jeez. He's very enthusiastic about it. The Juno spacecraft is going to Jupiter. And the question was, does it have much fuel? Or how does it have so much fuel? Or does it work with solar energy or something? Yes and no. The unique thing about Juno is that it is the first spacecraft to go to the not the exoplanets, but the farther planets, and that means anything beyond Mars, go out to the farther planets, and it is solar powered. The spacecraft itself is solar powered, but that is more for the power to the instruments and the spacecraft and the computers and things like that uses solar power. All other deep space probes, such as the Voyager and New Horizons, those are all nuclear powered. But there have been some hang-ups in getting more nuclear power cells for spacecraft because they need a specific type of, I think it's plutonium, I could be wrong, and Congress has been very uncooperative in allowing for the creation of that fuel, just because of obviously the bad connotations with plutonium and radioactivity and stuff, but even for scientific things, which is really needed for these spacecraft, because when you get out past Mars and into Jupiter, the sunlight is so dim out there that solar panels really become pointless and useless. But with Juno, they developed just this, an amazing new solar panel technology that's far more efficient. But even, they say, when Juno is close to Earth, it gets, I think, something crazy like 8,000 times as much power from its solar panels as it does out at Jupiter. So they're able to do with, I think, the whole spacecraft and all the experiments and science and the avionics, it runs on, I think, it's something crazy like less than 120 watts, so like less than the light bulb in your living room. So that's pretty crazy. So in terms of that, yes, it is solar powered. In terms of getting to Jupiter, it was put on a pretty large rocket, but if you've been watching my Kerbal Space program, 95% of the fuel you need to get anywhere is just to get you off the planet and out of Earth orbit. So it's really not a matter of the spacecraft doesn't burn constant fuel like your car does or a train or an airplane does as it's going forward. Once you get out of Earth's atmosphere and away from the gravity and you're on a trajectory, you can pretty much coast. And actually what Juno is doing is, like I said, it launched in August of 2011. It's not going to make it to Jupiter until 2015. It's a long way away, but what it's actually going to do is it's going out. Right now, it's beyond the orbit of Mars. It's actually going to swoop back in and encounter Earth one more time and use that as a gravity boost. It's going to do one little burn as it gets closer to Earth and picks up speed. And then with that gravity boost, they're going to use that to get it on its final trajectory to Jupiter. So that's a way that they can save fuel, because obviously the less fuel you need in your rocket, then the less weight, and, catch-22, the less weight, the less fuel you need to get your rocket off the ground. So it's kind of the more power you need, the more fuel you need, and then the more fuel you need more power to get that fuel off the ground. It's a really kind of a crazy thing to think about, but I think that answered your question in a roundabout way. It obviously needs a lot less fuel than, say, the Falcon 9 spacecraft, because the Falcon 9 is just going to low Earth orbit. But yeah. Amateur Spaceflight 101. So I hope that answered those questions. I had a lot more to talk about. I thought that was a ghast over there. It's just the side of a sheep. Paranoia. Boop. Woof. Boop. Oop. Not what I wanted to do. That's what I want to do. But yeah, I had a bunch more to talk about, but I guess I'll save that for the next episode. And what am I going to do? I need to flush out the hidey hole here. Oops. Let's do that. So yeah, certainly thanks for watching, and thanks for all of those questions. I'm really, once again, it's really, it makes it feel all worth it when you guys message me on Twitter or in the comments saying, oh, I'm really excited about this space stuff because of what you're talking about, and it's really cool to, obviously I'm very passionate about it, so it's really cool to kind of share that enthusiasm and get you guys interested in talking about it as well. And I hope you guys, if you are on Twitter or wherever in the future, you guys will sign up for some NASA socials or tweet ups or whatever they're going to be called now, and oh, I already have a boat, or whatever they're going to be called now, and then you guys can enjoy the same amazingness of standing inches away from a space shuttle that had been to space only 7 months before, some crazy awesome stuff like that. So, and then I look forward to hearing your stories in freaking deed. So yeah, keep going to farlandsorbust.com to contribute to Child's Play charity. I appreciate it, and like I said, at 30% I'll have a little special little thing cooking. And yeah, you can comment, ask me more questions in the comments below, and subscribe if you're not already. And also make sure you're still subscribed. There are some rumors out there that YouTube, in all of its amazing ideas, is accidentally unsubscribing active accounts from their favorite channels. So make sure you're still subscribed if you think you should be, just to make sure. And that way you don't miss any future episodes. And yeah, thanks for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.